Please do not post your referral code in the comment section below, otherwise KFC will come after you. Hey guys, Jaybo785. Today I've been watching a lot of Patton Oswalt, and it got me started to think about a lot of the funnier things that have happened in my life and what all has gone on in the last couple of years. And so this is going to be part one of my comedy series that I'm going to share with you guys and hope you like it. So let's go ahead and move on. Speaking of KFC, Patton Oswalt talking about that little skit, and I recommend that you get on YouTube and check that out. I started thinking, about what I was going to eat for the day, and started looking around, and just saw the massive amount of empty pizza boxes in my garbage can. And that's really how you know that you're a college student, is when your garbage can looks like a mass grave for pizza boxes. And, I started watching the movie 300, and I'm sitting down, and I'm finally eating breakfast, so I'm eating French toast, and I'm like, thinking about how I need to get in shape, New Year's, make those resolutions and whatnot. I'm like, man, why can't I have abs like that? I look down at the French toast and I look up at, the screen, and I'm like, this is carbohydrates! And just kind of started laughing to myself, and thinking about how obnoxiously fat I've been getting, just sitting around on my ass. And it made me start to think about those biodiesel cars and how they run on used vegetable oil and whatnot, and how the possibility that McDonald's may become the new gas station of the future. And it got me thinking about politics with Obama and how he was going to release the emergency oil reserves because the price of gasoline was going to get so hot. Now J-Lo's ass would be our emergency reserves for biofuel, and about how you really needed an excuse to try to tap that ass anyways. And then started thinking about going to the gym and getting back in shape, and made me think about a lot of my old stories about with some of my best buddies in the gym. I used to work out with this guy named Ozzy, and Ozzy had a disability. His left arm was 85% functional, so he had the Bob Dole arm pretty much. And, at first when I met Ozzy, I felt kind of bad for him, and I felt that, he kind of had an unfair rap and whatnot, and that he deserved a chance. And then, as I got to know him better, I could understand why people treated him the way they did. One of the things is, if there was ever anything out there that he didn't want to do, he would use his Bob Dole arm as an excuse. And eventually, all my other friends, we had Tater Nuts, which I'll tell you how he got his name, and then we had B.A., which we call her Badass, and then we had Big Mac. They all just freaking would not even talk to him. They gave him the silent treatment. Which, if you've ever met somebody that just craves attention, good or bad, giving them the silent treatment, the Indians used to think that that was worse than death. So treating him like he didn't even exist when he was right there. So, Tater Nuts, how he got his name. We spread a rumor in high school that this kid had nuts the size of Idaho potatoes to try to get him laid. And it actually worked, which was the weirdest and saddest thing. So, Ozzy's getting ready to do bench press, which y'all know that you're laying on your back and you're trying to push the bar up. And Tater's teabagged Ozzy in the face. So, sweaty teenage boy teabagging another boy in the face. Needless to say, eventually got to the only point where I was the only one that Ozzy would allow spot for him. And, Ozzy would be trying to lift, and he never fucking lifted unless he was going to try to meet the deadline for, like, a weight cutoff, And we'd tell the teacher, Mrs. Bear, like, the guy isn't lifting, he's just being fucking annoying, just bothering us, make him go away. Oh, I can't do that. So, Ozzy's trying to lift, and he starts to struggle, and he stalls out. So, me and Tater Nuts, we'd be in the back row and playing rock, paper, scissors, to how to have, save his ass. And eventually we just keep going, rock, damn it! 1, 2, 3, rock, damn it! 1, 2, 3, rock, damn it! Until the teacher walked away, and then the guy was lifting such little weight, you could pick it up with one hand, just put it on the rack. So, eventually got to one point where we finally told the teacher that, Ozzy's not lifting at all. Come watch him do his required amount of weight. So Mrs. Bear came over there and watched Ozzy get ready to do bench press. And so he takes the rack down, and as he goes to push it up, he starts making this god-awful noise. And you gotta remember, everybody gathered around to see this kid fail. And he starts making this noise that sounds like... And I'm spotting him, okay? So I'm standing behind him. people are looking at him like he's stroking out. People are freaking out. People are getting ready to go get the nurse, okay? And I am laughing my fucking ass off. And, you know, it's not like one of those things that's like, let's watch this kid hurt himself. We're like, dude, don't do this. Just take the failing grade. You know, take the no pass. You're going to seriously fuck yourself up trying to lift that much weight. Oh, I can do it. I can do it. So I'm laughing. And now people are looking at me like I'm the fucking crazy one. And I'm like, let me explain. Let me explain. He sounds like my car in the middle of winter when I'm trying to start it up. So now he's going, and I'm standing behind him, stomping the ground and acting like I'm trying to turn over my car. People are just fucking laughing. So, Ozzy hurt himself. Like we said he would. So he's got his arm kind of slinged up, Bob Dole style. And we're getting ready to go lift again. And we're like, dude, come on, get dressed up. No, I hurt my arm. I'm not going to get dressed up. That's really how this guy fucking talked, too. Dude, just put on your fucking shorts, put on your t-shirt, and do leg press. You know, your arm's fucked up, but your legs aren't. No, I'm just going to sit this one out. And that would have been fine. Except the fact when we were actually trying to do our fucking job, this kid would not leave us the fuck alone. Now, we had a guy named Nick in our class. And Nick was part Mexican, part American. And him and Ozzy would banter back and forth. And usually what ended up happening was Nick would call Ozzy a dumbass because he was. And Ozzy would call Nick a beaner or something like that. So some pretty racist. Ozzy called him a fucking then Nick would call Ozzy a fucking asshole. And then Ozzy would go tattletale to Mrs. Bear that Nick was making fun of his disability. And then Nick would get sent to detention. So we liked Nick, we didn't like Ozzy, needless to say we'd be pissed off at him. So this is how that conversation went. Our buddy got sent to detention for pretty much the last time, and I think he actually failed out of that grade of high school because of it, which I think is fucking ridiculous. So we were giving Ozzy the silent treatment. Hardcore. Didn't even acknowledge that he was talking to us. So Mrs. Bear comes over. Guys, Ozzy actually did hurt his arm, so you should be nice to him. And I look at her, I'm like, he's being an asshole. Well, he has a doctor's note that says that he actually hurt his arm, so can't you just be a little bit nicer to him? I go, was the doctor's note written in Crown? Because if it was, it's a pretty good sign it was a forgery. And she fucking started laughing her ass off. And she turned around, you could just see her shoulders shrugging from, like, the giggling and the jiggling of laughter. And she turns back around, she's smirking, she's like, that's not very nice, and walks off. So that's the story of basically me trying to work off my fat ass in the gym. And let's go ahead and move on, alright? So, it's one of those things, trying to get back in shape is not only just the health side, but I'm single now, and I've got to look better and feel better, to meet people and get out there and to be attractive. Which, that's really not the hard part. The hardest part for me is my mannerisms, which I'm just fucking doomed to begin with. I have a mom that's the type of person that brought pot brownies to the teacher lounge in high school during finals. And my dad, well, this is the story of my dad. My stepmom and my dad growing up, we were all really dirt poor. And my stepmom had a piece of shit car. And this was about the time that those little, Corsicas came out. Those little Escorts. And, they were driving by one day, this car lot that had one. And they just picked up a goat, a little baby goat that put on the farm. And my stepmom was asking my dad, like, oh, can't we just go test drive one? Can't we just go test drive one? And my dad's like, look, we're running out of time. You can go, you can ask some questions, but then we gotta go. And whatever you do, don't get in the car. Because my dad used to sell cars. And he knew that if you got the driver in the car, that was 90% of the sale. So, Dad's just sitting in the car with the baby goat, just waiting. And time's going by, and clock's ticking, and he's like, where the hell is this woman? So he looks over, and he sees her getting in the fucking car. The one thing he didn't ask her to do. So he's like, well, shit. And it's summertime, so he can't leave the goat in the car because it's too hot. So he grabs the baby goat, and, he sees, like, the dealer who's just focused on nothing but the cell, messing with like the mirror, and Naomi's like, or excuse me, my stepmother's like, oh yeah. And so he just pops in the back of this fucking brand new car with this baby goat. And you know, he looks like the redneck farmer. He's got the flannel jacket on, his hair's all fucked up, he probably has some insulation in there. And the dealer just turns around and looks at him. And he's like, how many goats do you think this car can hold? The dealer's like, 6, you know? And he just continues to fuck with him like that. What are these car seats made out of? I don't want my goats eating my car. And here's the best part of this fucking story. They ended up buying the car that day. So you know that there's some poor fucking car salesman still out there who's like, you know, nothing beats the time that goddamn hillbilly jumped in the car with that goat. So, speaking of hillbillies and whatnot, I actually live in the state of Kansas. Yay, go me. And I'm going to save this story for an additional video because I know this one's starting to get a little bit long. About the Night of the Living Dead Possum, alright? So, check out my next video and I'll go ahead and tell you that story. So, you know, odd mannerisms continued. I'm the type of guy that you'll be waiting at an intersection, just mind your own fucking business. This little hand deal will be up there. And I'll look at you and I'll go, hey, what? You know, the sign's not going to change until we high-five. What? Yeah, that's the high-five sign. If you don't high-five me, it won't change. We'll just be stuck here. Been waiting here for a fucking hour. Nobody will high-five me. And I'll just high-five random strangers, and then the sign will change, and we'll just walk, and I'll act like nothing happened. That's the type of guy I am. So, you know, if you see somebody out in the street like that, that's me. And, the area that I live in isn't a very good area, and we actually had a guy driving around in a van that looked very similar like this, that somebody window chopped free candy on the side. So again, I'm waiting at the sidewalk, waiting for somebody to high-five me before I cross. And this van, which I'd seen driving around the neighborhood for a couple weeks, pulls up and is waiting at the crosswalk, okay, for the light to change so he can go. And it says free candy on the side. And I'd had a day where I just didn't give a fuck about anything. I didn't care about any consequences which may come my way. And so, I hop in the passenger seat of this guy's van. The correct action, and the correct response, which he did was, what the fuck do you think you're doing? And I just looked at him blankly like a fish on the side of a riverbank gasping for air. And I held my hand outstretched, palm up, and I go, give me my candy. And he goes, get the fuck out of my car! Not until you give me my candy. So after we conversed for about a minute longer and people started honking because the light was green, I got out of the van. But guys, that concludes part 1 of my stand-up comedy series. I hope you've liked it. I hope it's made you laugh. You know, like, subscribe, comment down in the comment section below. Please check out my next video. I'm going to do another one of these very, very soon. If you have any questions or concerns, like I said, post it down in the comment section below. And if this video has made you laugh, and if you're a new player planning on joining Rage of Bahamut, please use my referral code RUM26800. Gets you some free rare cards and does the same for me. Thanks a lot, guys. This is Jaybo785 signing off.